Hi, my name is Barbara Livengood, and I work with the Global Missions team here at First Covenant. During the COVID-19, it's easy to get cabin fever, so Dale and I have been taking long walks every day, and like most of us, we often talk about the pandemic, but on one of our walks last week, we started talking about God's faithfulness. And when I got home, I began making a list of all the ways that God's been faithful to us as a couple and to me as an individual. And I've also been doing a word search in the Bible about God's faithfulness, and I have found almost 200 verses that relate to faithful or faithfulness. And here are some of the ones that I found most helpful this week. Psalm 91, 1-6 says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart." Now, I had to look up rampart. Rampart means like a protective wall against the enemy. "You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday." Pretty applicable verse for this time. 2 Thessalonians 3:3 says, "But the Lord is faithful, and He will strengthen and protect you from the evil one." And Lamentations 3:20-24, "My soul is downcast within me, yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." Now, that particular passage really helped me when I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer 15 years ago last month. God was so faithful to me through that whole experience. He helped me determine what's really important in life. He helped me focus on my relationship with God and my family and not on my career. He provided for us financially when I ran out of sick leave. He sent people to take me to treatment so that Dale could keep working. He sent us meals for nearly 8 months. And most importantly, He helped me be able to truly say that whether I live or die, I win. Because if I live, I get to be with my family longer. And if I die, I get to be with Jesus in heaven. God was faithful to me during that time and countless times before and after. In my Bible app, I also found out that faithfulness can be translated 3 ways. One is loving kindness, goodness, merciful kindness. 2 is steadfastness, firmness, security, fulfilling promises. And 3 is certain truth, sureness, stability, reliability, trustworthiness, security, consistent in performing promises. Psalm 100 verses 4-5 says, "For the Lord is good, and His love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations." So we can trust that God, who's been faithful through all generations, will continue to be faithful to us through this coronavirus pandemic. We can continue to rely on God's faithfulness and His steadfastness and the certain truth that His promises will be fulfilled. Theologian Charles Stanley wrote this about God's faithfulness. "It's easy to doubt God when you're focused on the obstacles in front of you. But when you fix your eyes on Him and believe what Scripture says about His faithfulness, then you can do anything He requires. No matter what lies ahead, remember that God is not a liar and He is faithful. You'll be strengthened by your dependence on Him, whether a deluge of trials or a flood of blessings comes. It's actually when life gets rough that you'll recognize the reality and sweetness of God's faithfulness. As you walk through those storms in complete reliance on His strength, your trust in His character and faithfulness will become part of who you are and provide strength from within." Again, pretty powerful words for right now. I've discovered that the more I remember God's faithfulness to me, the less I fear about what's going on in the world. It doesn't mean we won't go through hard times. My cancer journey was definitely hard. But it does mean that we can trust God is with us, that He's going ahead of us, that He has everything in His control, and that He will bring good out of this. So I encourage you to make your own list of the ways that God has been faithful to you. Maybe you can even do it as a family and compare notes. the more you see evidence of God's faithfulness to you, especially in the difficult times, the more you can trust that God will continue to be faithful to provide everything that we need. I want to leave you with one last verse. Hebrews 10:23 says, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful." Thanks for listening. Have a great week as you trust in God's faithfulness.